Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Today, we're talking about why you're stuck at 5K a month and how to break through that fast. What if I told you that the reason you're stuck at 5K per month isn't because you aren't working hard enough, but because you're focusing on the wrong things? Most entrepreneurs spin their wheels doing all kinds of things, yet they never really break through to that six figures or beyond that. And why is that? It's because they're stuck. They're stuck in this cycle of inefficiency, self sabotage, and outdated strategies. But here's the good news, there's a few simple daily shifts that can completely change your trajectory. So stay with me today because I am, by the end of this video, I am going to show you exactly how to break free from the 5K month trap and step into consistent, predictable income growth. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Heather Blaze, and I help entrepreneurs like you scale past the income plateaus that keep so many business owners stuck. I've helped countless of coaches, consultants, and experts build sustainable, scalable businesses. And today I'm going to show you the exact shifts that separate those who struggle from those who dominate their industry. Because I've been there myself. And I know what it's like to hustle endlessly with nothing to show for it or little to show for it. Or at least, have that imbalance of like, I'm putting all this work in and why am I not getting paid for this? Right. This was years ago, but figured it out. Once I figured that out, figured out that real game, everything changed. And I want that for you too. So in today's video, we're going to uncover the invisible mindset traps that keep you stuck. It's invisible mind traps. Like they're up here in your blind spot that are keeping you stuck at that 5K per month. Maybe you get a little bit more, maybe you get nothing. The second thing is the daily shifts that you need to make to scale beyond that limit. How do we break through that? And the third thing is the exact systems and strategies that will help you attract premium clients consistently. So each of these things is really crucial. And missing even one will keep you on this hamster wheel of inconsistent income. So let's dive in. The first thing I want to talk about is the invisible mindset traps that are keeping you stuck. The first reason why most entrepreneurs never break past that 5K month mark is because they're thinking like freelancers or actually employees. I like to say employee mindset versus empire mindset, but freelancers or what's the other word, contractors, things like that, not business owners, right? They're trading their time for money, which is what employees do. And they believe that they have to do everything themselves. And they subconsciously sabotage their growth by undercharging and then over delivering. I see this all the time. And so when I say employee versus empire mindset, I know I talk about this a lot. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm constantly, shifting people's mindsets around this because it's so crucial. And this is the first thing we really dive deep on with my clients, because if you can't get past this, nothing's going to work. No matter what you do, it's always going to be, it's like you're going to be creating a job for yourself instead of having like a true business. So the employee mindset, right? Our whole society is trained to be workers. We're trained to be employees. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job, work, 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 do, trade your time for money, right? Go to work, come home. Everybody's taught that way. It's our whole society is set up that way. So like our television, our friends, our family, our everybody, our teachers, everybody that surrounds us growing up, we're all programmed to be workers. So I don't know how old you are, maybe put in the comments how old you are. Hey, Charlie, how's it going? But for that many years, right? 30, 40, 50 years for some of you, we've been trained for that long to be employees. Well, if you want to have a business, you've got to start thinking like a business owner. So you're working on the business, not in the business. And because our society never teaches us this, how would you know? How would you know how to get clients? How would you know how to do marketing? How would you know how to do sales? We're not taught that in school. Even some of my clients have business degrees, MBAs, they come to me because they're not really taught that in school. They're taught like the old way and not the new way of getting clients and things like that, which is, the old way would be get business cards and, go to marketing events, networking, meetups or whatever. I mean, back in the day, I had to do that too before there was internet, right? But now we've got the internet, and a lot of business, the new business courses or whatever, they're not teaching all this stuff. So even them, right? So even if you don't have a business degree or a master's degree, which does give some sort of edge, there's so much to it, right? So anyway, employee mindset versus empire mindset. This is the very first thing that I work on with my clients. We go so deep into it. I bring them into a whole new identity. So they get so much clarity around how it all works so that they're able to scale from there. And like I said, if that doesn't get handled first, nothing works. So that's why it's the first step. For example, one of my clients was doing everything. She's creating content, handling sales calls, managing admin work, and she thought hustling harder would get her to six figures. But the truth is, she was wearing herself out. So when she finally shifted her mindset, when I finally gave her that clarity to see herself as the CEO, I call it the CEO of YOU is my first module in my program, right? But it's just setting up that foundation, shifting into this whole new identity, giving clarity around how do you set up that strong foundation to scale from, so that you can work on the business, not in the business. So she could see herself as that CEO rather than a solopreneur. And when that shifted, her income tripled in about 90 days. So you got to start acting like the six-figure version of yourself now. But sometimes it's hard because it's all up in your blind spot, right? You don't know what you don't know. And how do you even research? How do you research something you don't know that you don't know, right? Because we know what we do know. We know what we don't know. But when you don't know what you don't know, what are you looking for, right? You can't even see it. So ask yourself, okay, best you can. If you don't have a mentor to help you out of this, would a six-figure business owner undercharge for their expertise? Okay, that's one thing you got to ask yourself. The next thing you want to ask yourself is, would they waste time on tasks that don't directly generate revenue? And another thing that they would ask themselves is, would they spend all day answering emails, tweaking their website, or getting a perfect logo? And the answer is no, they wouldn't. High earners make decisions differently. They prioritize their time and focus on high impact activities that drive revenue and business growth. So think of it this way. If you were already making six figures, how would you show up differently? How would you speak to your clients? How would you structure your day? And the more you start embodying that version of yourself now, the faster your business will reflect it. So high earners, they don't hesitate when it comes to investing in themselves. They just don't. They want to save the time, right? We can make money's everywhere. Money's everywhere. You can make money. You can always make money, but you can never make more time. You can never get that time back. Once that time is gone, once that minute is gone, once that day is gone, you're never going to get that day back, right? But you have the capability, everybody has the capability, especially in the United States, to make more money. It is what it is, right? So they when it comes to investing, right, they're willing to do it because they know that time is money. The longer it takes to figure something out, that's money that's not going in to the bank account, right? So they don't say, I'll figure it out on my own. They seek that guidance and they invest in the mentorship and they surround themselves with people who elevate their thinking because they understand, again, time is the most valuable asset. So they don't waste it guessing, struggling, or playing small. So it's kind of like, there's a safe with money in it, and you're kind of sitting there with the dial, listening and to the clicks and trying to figure out how to get in there. Or someone hands you the combination and you open it up and you get the money, right? It's like, what would you rather do? So if you're stuck at 5K a month, it's because you're making 5K a month decisions. So every time you're faced with a choice, ask yourself, what would the six-figure plus version of me do? And the more you make decisions from that place, the faster you're going to break through your current ceiling, right? Because you're only going to get like your surroundings is the reflection of what you believe, and what you know, right? The skills you have. So if you're believing a certain thing, right, and you've got those skills, I did a whole video on this a while back. Um, your current situation is showing you what your actual beliefs are and your skill level are, right? Because if you knew more, right, you're gonna take action based on what you know and based on what you believe. So the actions that you're taking are bringing you into this current situation. Does that make sense? Um, Tell me in the comments if that makes sense. All right, now let's talk about the next idea. Okay, so here's the daily shift to or the daily shifts, I should say, to scale beyond that 5K month. So most struggling entrepreneurs, they fill their days with tasks that don't actually move that needle. You might be scrolling on social media, and yes, I do it too. I catch myself all constantly every day. I catch myself. I'm like, because I'll be answering DMs from people that are DMing me from my ads, and I'll veer off sometimes, and I'm like, come back, stop wasting time, right? But they spend scrolling. They spend their time and endlessly tweaking their website, tweaking their ads, tweaking their, valuable offer, whatever, their lead magnets, tweaking, responding to every email. High earners, on the other hand, they focus on revenue generating activities first. So, for example, in my program, I tell my clients, number one focus is being on a sales call with somebody, with a potential prospect. If you're not on the sales call with a potential prospect, right, or you're not dealing face to face with your potential prospect, that could become a client, you need to be focusing on how are you getting that client. That's the next activity. How, are you running ads? Are your ads running? Are your ads effective? Are they getting quality? Like, is the quality good? If the quality is not good, well, the messaging is off, right? If the messaging is off, maybe you don't have clarity around what words specifically resonate with your ideal client. If you don't know that, maybe you don't know your ideal client well enough, right? So it's like peeling, it's like layers of an onion. So imagine you're trying to fill a bucket with water, but it has holes in it. So every time you spend time on tasks that don't directly generate revenue, you're pouring water into this leaky bucket. And so the solution to that is fix the leaks, right? It's obvious. But what are those, right? So remove the distractions and focus on what actually grows your business. And again, if you don't know what those things are, if you don't have the clarity on what those specific things are that are going to grow your business, then you need to invest in something that is going to give you that clarity as quickly as possible. So here's what your daily focus should look like. Okay, again, lead generation, reaching out to potential clients, or tweaking your ads so that they're coming to you. Networking, if that's what you're doing. I think that's a lot of time. I'd rather not spend the time doing that and just put some good ads together. Creating the strategic content that really attracts those high value leads, right? And just making sure you're monitoring the data to ensure that they're good quality, that, turn the ones off that aren't working, turn the ones that are working, scale them up, right? Then the next thing is those sales conversions. So just having these meaningful discussions with prospects and confidently offering your premium solution. And then again, that a lot goes into that, because you got to ask the right questions to get them to that point, right? To want to actually buy. Maybe you've got them to find you and call you. Now you need to get them to pay you. So what questions are you asking them to lead them into that sale, right? And if your questions that you're asking them are uh, the right questions, it's going to bring them to that point of, oh shit, I need to do something about this. And they're going to lead themselves into selling themselves if you've done it properly, right? And there's a formula to it. There's a syntax to it. And we go deep on this with my clients too. And then the next priority is delivering premium value. So now they've found you, they're called you, they're in your, whatever you're offering. So now serving those existing clients at the highest level to create referrals and repeat business. So everything else, probably just delegate, automate, or eliminate. So you need to ask yourself at the start of each day, what is the one thing I can do today that will bring in more leads, close more sales, or increase my revenue? Then do that first, whether you like it or not. Some people are like, I wanna, do something else. It's like, boring. I don't know, whatever, right? But it's like those are the priorities, and how to stay on task with that is just be very clear about your vision, why you're doing it, have that pull you towards it, right? So it's a lot easier to get pulled towards your vision than to push, 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 right? More energy to push, less energy to just be pulled towards it. So make sure you're really clear on that vision so you get pulled towards it and it keeps you motivated and wanting to do those tasks that may not be the most fun or easiest thing because it's not in your comfort zone, maybe. But if you can have that vision pull you forward and really think, well, why am I doing this? Well, typically it's not even about you. They can find you. That's what drives me anyway, is I just think this isn't even about me. Like when I used to hate doing these Facebook lives, I would feel so uncomfortable doing them. And I would just be like, okay, it's not about me. It's not about me. I got to show up so I can, so I can be out there so people can find me, that need my help. Anyway, let's move on to number 3. The third and last thing that I want to share with you today are the exact systems and strategies to attract premium clients consistently. So scaling isn't about doing more, like I've kind of been saying throughout this whole thing. It's about doing the right things more effectively. So this is where automation, positioning, high ticket offers really come into play. And the common mistake is that too many entrepreneurs underprice their offers because they think people won't pay more. But the truth is, premium clients aren't looking for cheap solutions. They're looking for experts who can deliver massive results. And again, I just talked about this in last week's live, I think it um, was about my client, Julia. She was stuck charging $100 an hour for her expertise. She was constantly chasing new clients and burning out. We repositioned her with a premium offer. I think she charges $3,000 now, around there. And I helped her implement a simple automated lead generation funnel. And within 60 days, she had a 10K month. Maybe it was 9K because I think 3 months, I don't know, something like that. It's either 9 or 12K. I can't remember. Anyway, around there for the first time ever. And she said it was the most she'd made. Like she made more in the first quarter than she had the entire year before because we got her clear on her value, so that she could communicate her value effectively. We got her, set up with the systems, of course, but she stopped selling her time and started selling transformation. And a lot of coaches really get stuck in this time thing. I even have someone in my program right now, and we're in the pricing stage, right? And she keeps going back. What does she do? She's a rapid transformational therapist. Oh, this is why she's having a hard time with the time for money thing, right? She's still stuck in that employee mindset. I think we're only in week 3 or something like that. But anyway, I think she finally got it this week. So she's a rapid transformational therapist. So what that means is she can actually get results for people in like 1 or 2 sessions. It's so quick what she can do. She's amazing. And she's helping people who were sexually abused, okay, a lot of trauma. She's helping them overcome the trauma, and she can do it like that. And I think she said, well, I mean, we were talking about it, and her price could literally be anywhere from probably $8,000 to $12,000 for this type of transformation. I mean, if you can get over sexual trauma, which is causing like major depression, major anxiety. It's affecting every area of their life. Like they're getting chronic pain. They're like debilitated in life. They can't have proper relationships. Like it's affecting every area. Life is miserable for these people. And she can literally transform and have them thriving in their life in like, I think it was like 1 to 3 sessions. Like she's so good at it. And she was like, how can I charge $10,000 for it takes her 2 sessions of like 2 hours or something like that, right? And I'm just like, it's not about that though. It's not about trading time for money. But of course, we're trained our whole lives, 50 years, 30, 40, 50 years of indoctrination of trading time for money. But let me give you another example. Let's say there's someone with like an aching toothache. And again, it's affecting every area of their life. They've got migraines. They can't go into work because they didn't sleep the night before. They're can't spend quality time with their kids because they're just in so much pain. And they go to the dentist and the dentist says, oh yeah, I can fix that. Take me 10 minutes. I charge $5,000. And they're like, what? $5,000? 10 minutes? Like, well, if you want me to take longer, I can. I could stretch it over 2 weeks, but who wants that? Nobody wants to be longer. They want it to be as quick as possible, right? So it's not about the money. It's about the transformation. It's about the result. It's about how much, like what it's costing them to stay stuck in that versus what they could really gain by getting out of it. And the quicker, the better. You don't want to stay in pain if you don't have to, right? So again, ask yourself, how can I package my expertise into a high value offer that solves a big problem? Okay, those are just two examples, but there's tons. How can I make my offer so irresistible that people just can't say no? And how can I create leverage in my business so I'm not always chasing clients? Now, I want to give you a bonus tip and one that most entrepreneurs completely overlook. And it's the power of authority positioning. Like, why should they go to you versus go to somebody else? Right. So if you're constantly chasing clients, it's because they don't see you as the go-to expert and you haven't flipped that KLT switch, the know, like, and trust switch. Okay. Now, some people think you have to nurture leads or prospects for months or years to develop this, to really develop that know, like, and trust. But the truth is, if it's done properly, it can happen in less than 24 hours. In fact, one video with the right formula can achieve this. So turning total strangers into paying clients in 24 hours. One simple strategy to start building your authority is through content that speaks directly to your ideal client's biggest pain, their pain points, and their desires. This alone can 10x your inbound leads if it's done properly. One of my clients, Lisa, she used this strategy and she went from no inbound leads to having people DM her every week asking how to work with her. Because you see, when you can describe their situation better than they can, you instantly become the authority that they've been waiting for. So if you're serious about breaking past the 5K per month plateau and stepping into consistent high income months, I've got something for you. Join my free masterclass where I break down the exact steps that my clients use to scale past 6 figures without burnout. You can click the link to like below in the description to register, okay, or somewhere wherever you see it. Spots are limited. And if you found this video valuable, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and drop a comment below telling me what your biggest takeaway was today. And again, today we covered the mindset shifts that you need to stop playing small and the daily focus areas that create real momentum. And the third thing that we covered today was the systems and strategies that make scaling inevitable. So the only thing standing in your way, they're the only thing standing between you and the business that you want is action. So just implement what you've learned today and watch how fast things can change. And don't miss my next video where I'll be sharing how to close high ticket sales with ease, even if you hate selling. So I will see you there. Have a great day, everyone.